David, hello again. Let's just look going forward now at solutions. When we look for an agreement on consensus on this issue, you've put forward one idea that the biometrics should be captured on arrival. You spoke to me about this earlier. Has this idea gained any traction so far?
Well, look, we've had no real formal consultation in a year. We started off. We wrote to the minister. We felt that prior to even considering this, there should have been a healthy and lengthy process of consultation. Minister Gigaba announced in October a task team to be set up. He's never convened that. But there is an interministerial committee dealing with it. We are confident that sober heads will prevail. And when the evidence is put on the table, it's actually quite overwhelming that there needs to be an alternative remedy sought. And let's just take the unabridged birth certificates, because let's have a look at this. When it started, Home Affairs says we've got the Children's Act, we need to protect children. And then there's just this blur to unabridged birth certificates. Mm-hmm. And they stood up in Parliament and quoted the bogus figure of 30,000. They looked everybody in the eye and said 30,000 children are trafficked out of this country a year. That figure is absolutely outrageously wrong. The correct figure in terms of actual cases is 23 cases in the last 3 years across land borders. Now, if that's the problem, let's have a look at what the rest of the world's doing. And I might add that we're the only country doing this. Home Affairs says we're not. Oh, there are other countries, but they can't name one. So in all the discourse, you've never heard Home Affairs say Thailand does this or Mexico does this, because no other country does that. So what we need to do is have a look at how other countries who are also concerned about child trafficking actually deal with the problem. And it's through targeting perpetrators, profiling, working with agencies such as Interpol, and it's hard police work. It's not a blunt instrument that actually impacts on genuine leisure tourism to the country. And the other aspect that has been and been sort of not really well reported on is the fact that what Home Affairs are doing is conflating, either deliberately or otherwise, when a parent takes a child away without the consent of the other parent and does that, they're conflating that with child trafficking. The two are totally separate issues and need to be dealt with accordingly. Oh. So what we're saying, and the other issue that they're saying is that every country requires this. Once again, that's a mistruth. Okay, that's not true.
Just for the sake of time,
certain countries, if I could just finish. Yeah.
Just for the sake of time, if I could just jump in here. I mean, obviously now you're looking at the stats that might be released at the end of the year or later on in the year. You'll expect that to be a bit more dreadful if that includes the June period where the unabridged laws for minors came into effect here.
Well, if we have a look at the IATA data, which gives us actuals for June and also looks at the forward book into the country, so those are bookings in the system at this time last year compared to this time this year, we see that trend continuing. And if you have a look at, and you know, we're in touch with our members. I mean, I can tell you that the big inbound tourism operators and the small ones across the board are down drastically year on year. So, and they are telling us, and we're getting reports directly from operators around the world saying, if these laws, and we've warned you about them, if these are carried on, we are actually going to stop selling family travel to South Africa. And I mean, if we don't have a look at a remediation and something sensible, we will see these numbers going down. Okay. And I mean, let me just put some.
I'm going to have to cut you off there, David. We're running out of time, but thanks very much indeed for talking to us this afternoon. David Frost is the CEO of the Southern African Tourism Services Association. Now, the news at 1.